going to say this again, focus on the end of the year, right? Because Tony Robbins has this wonderful saying is that most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. And I'd love for us all to be here, like at the end of the year, discussing it, and then at 5 years, discussing it. Because that's where you'll see the difference.
Where we will be in 5 years.
Where will we be? Myself and Debbie had a very lovely chat last week. You know, I still am fasting, and there was a lot of reflection going on. And then while you were trying to sort your technical problems, Debbie, I told Tadao that I felt that this has really allowed me to be okay with just stepping back. So, you know, I'm fasting, I have the reflection, I'm doing the prayers and, you know, reading the Quran. It's just making me realize that it's really okay. You know, when you have to take that time out, you have to take that time out. And it's just allowed me to really enjoy this time. There's no stress. It's very peaceful. I've been feeling really, really good about where I am. And that's the other thing, to get to that place that we think we need to be. And we all don't realize that timing is everything, right? When that time comes, it'll hit you and you won't even know it, and you'll be going like this bullet train, and then you'll want to slow down. So it's really nice for me to have that time to understand that it's okay to do nothing and to just enjoy just being. So I've had a lot of time to just like sit with myself, to enjoy the things I want to do what I want to do, but it's all in my own time. Then I'll go to England, I'll have my break, I will come back, and then I will hopefully go full steam ahead. That is the goal. But for now, I know I need to step away. And there's this wonderful thing that I was thinking about, unanswered prayers, right? I was reflecting on things that had not happened in my life. And at the time, I was very frustrated because, you know, as I've told you, I come from a strict sort of background, and my mother wouldn't allow me to go to Hollywood when I had the opportunity to be a script writer. I thought all my dreams had come true because I was given this chance, and somebody was going to champion me on and help me and introduce me to the right people, send me to the right place. And my mum was like, hell no, that's never happening. You're not going to go off and live in Hollywood by yourself. Now, when I hear the stories and I hear how difficult it has been for people and some of the horrific stories that have come out, and I'm like, thank God for unanswered prayers, and thank God for a mother who loved me so much and was protecting me and said, that's not the environment that I want you to be in. So that for me, these last couple of weeks has been a lot of reflection and thinking and saying, it'll happen when it's going to happen. Everything will happen in its own time. I have to put the work in, yes, but if we're persistent and we're consistent and we keep doing, you will not fail until you stop trying.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at the moment.
How did you practice like being patient with stepping back? Because I've been working like since when I was 15 or 16, and I never stopped to work. And when I stop, I feel like I need to do something. So I'm not comfortable with doing nothing. I try to practice more and be more comfortable with doing nothing and just enjoy being. I start a little bit study to understand the concept, but still I feel like rushing myself to success, or like rushing myself to do something all the time. So how did you practice like being patient?
When you say success, what does success mean to you?
So for now, I'm a restaurant manager, but I want to be a life coach. That's a deep question, Furzana. Because in the end, I want to help people. Yeah. So success is like help people my work.
Right. But the first person you have to help is yourself. It all comes down to self and what you do for yourself first. I feel like you're in a place where you understand what that means. And the reason why I'm okay being, because I realized that it's not the things we want, it's not the material things we want, it's not the external, it's that feeling inside, isn't it?
Right.
It's the feeling that you're going for. Like when you get that goal, it's that feeling, it's what makes you feel. And if you can feel really good, then you don't need the external things. I'm not saying you don't need money and stuff, all of that thing is important. You need a house, you need food, all that thing. But the realization I came through over this last year was, if I can make myself feel really good, then I really don't need anything else. So I've been doing that. I will sit, I will be, and I'll think about what it feels like to have done that thing. I mean, it's almost like that, that kind of manifestation, and you have to believe it before you can achieve it. And, it's created in your mind before it's created outside. But it really is, it's about the feeling. So if you think about, say, you example that you got your first client, or you had your 10th client, or you hit that goal of the money, that number you had in your head of how much you want to earn, and you sit and you think, I've already got it. And how does that make me feel when I think of that? It's already in my bank, or that client's already there. And then you get this like really euphoric feeling. And if you can sit in that for a while, it makes you feel really good. And then I always feel like I have a little pep in my step, I'm like sort of able to do certain things because I'm feeling really good. So I have to narrate the story. I narrate it in my head, and the narration helps me form images.
Tadao, you also said something that jumped out at me, which was something about, you were saying, I don't know how to do nothing. Like, it was very extreme from doing, I'm going to guess, you going Tadao speed and then doing nothing. But what is doing nothing mean to you? When you said that, what did you think Furzana was offering as a suggestion that made you say, so to do nothing?
For me, doing nothing is like being comfortable with who you are, where you are at this current moment, and be present. For me, that's do nothing. Because we often spend so much time for your past experience and try to fix something, or you spend so much time for your future worrying about something, like constantly. Because I work in a very high-pressured working environment. Sometimes I feel like it's very difficult to switch off my brain. I'm always in this fight or flight mode. But it works in my industry, because I need to pay attention to my customers. At the same time, I need to manage people. And if there's something going on, I need to fix the problem as well. So, like multitasking is not very efficient. I gotta do it at my workplace, right? So my thoughts and ideas and everything is running around in my head, like for 10, 12 hours a day. So after that, I come home and I find it very difficult to switch off my brain. Then I go sleep with that mind. And when I'm sleeping, the same thing is happening. I'm doing something in my dream too. So that's why I feel it's very important to be present and just don't worry about anything and just enjoy being. But you need to practice that, right? Because I was a person try to prove something all the time. I try to prove I'm worth something. I was that person and I still am that person, maybe some part of me. So for me, it takes time to practice. And I'm still in this period that I need to practice more to be comfortable with being present.
So now it seems like you're in such environments where there's people everywhere.
People everywhere, yeah.
And so you want to be a coach, and the universe is giving you thousands of clients or hundreds of clients a day. That's it. You have hundreds of clients a day. How are you handling your coaching?
That's the thing, right? When I decided to be a life coach, I decided because I met a lot of young people in my industry and they have these self-limiting beliefs. But I saw so much potential in them. And they're still like a 19, 20, or maybe they just graduated college and they don't know what they're going to do in their future. But like by holding a space that just encourage them to be who they are and just appreciate their work, that would make a huge impact on them. So those young people I met through my work now study their own business. Now they study their own restaurant, their own cafe. So I see their success. That's the pretty much reason why I decided to be a life coach. And then I was applying that in my daily practice to my staff.
I did want to ask you, when you leave work, how do you decompress when you get home? Because there's that period of time you've just left work and then before you go to sleep. Is there anything that you've done in the past that sort of helped you kind of switch off, decompress?
I think that's not about sleeping, but like going for a hike every week, really, really long hike, like 5-6 hours, and meet nobody for a day. Yeah, that would bring myself back to present and actually enjoy being present when I'm in the nature by myself. Well, I'm doing hiking, but like for me, it's like doing nothing for me because I don't need to do that multitasking and I don't need to be in the fight and fight mode unless there's a bear coming to me.
That is for the weekend, but on a daily basis, what can you do or what do you do just to...
Oh, Furzana, this is not podcast worth conversation, but like, because when I finish work, it's already 10, 11.
Right.
And come home, I need to force myself to sleep. Otherwise, I won't be able to function next day. So I need to sleep 7, 8 hours and then wake up and go work. It's the cycle.
That's tough. No, I get it. That's tough. For me, it's very easy to say, oh, you know, you need the wind down time and stuff like that because I don't have those pressures. So I totally get what you're saying. Oh my gosh. God bless you, Tadao.
God bless me. You know, it's not for every day, but even though for like one day a week, I have a time to wind down and just enjoy being present. So that's helping me a lot. Less grumpy.
Is
Maybe
that
work-
schedule the schedule that you want to have? Or is there a schedule that you dream of in your current job?
So whoever works in the hospitality industry, maybe they understand me. But like, it's very long working hours. So it's physically, mentally very difficult to manage sometimes. But you know, as a manager, I need to be at the restaurant for really long hours. My ideal could be maybe I have enough time before I go sleep to wind down, to reflect or even journal. But when I go home right now after work, I just need to go to bed right away. I'm that exhausted. Yeah.
When you're lying down in bed before you go to sleep, just take a couple of minutes. It doesn't have to be long. It's not about the length of it. It's just, you know, those few minutes, even as you're going to sleep and you sort of drift off, just do that mindful practice if that's what you need. Because I have a lot of time, and even having a lot of time, I don't always do that mindful practice, right? So before I go to sleep, I'm just like, throw the duvet over myself and I say, today was a really good day, or I'm really grateful that I did this or I got to do that. And then I'll think about something that makes me smile so that I go to sleep in that feeling. It's a little hack that I try and do every day. It doesn't always work every day as well, but if you can hit it more times than you don't, that's just a nice way to end the day. Because, you know, we all have those days where like was a shitty day, you know, or it was just a really crazy day, or like you feel like just nothing went right. At the end of the day, if you can just find the piece that was good, you know. Even when I wake up, like sometimes it's so silly, but I'll say, I'm so grateful I have 2 hands, 2 legs, I can move, I can walk, I get to sleep in if I get to sleep in. And it's those little things, those little reminders that show me it's such a good life. And I'm really, really grateful for what I have.
So Tadao,
Now this became like my counseling session.
how you're feeling in the particular job that you have in terms of your powerlessness, your powerfulness, your decision to be there or not, your feeling of freedom to leave or do something else, or is it a deep love of hospitality and you know that that requires long hours, so it's worth it to you and you're happy to work to that extent because it's so rewarding? Or is this something that you feel like you have to do? Or like, so tell me about your level of passion about what you're doing and its rewards for you.
I think I'm in a shift right now because I came to restaurant hospitality industry when I was 27, when I moved to Australia from Japan. And it was a very dark period for me. I left my previous job when I was 27 and I was devastated emotionally and I was not functioning very well. And that's the reason why I decided to leave Japan and go to Australia. And then I didn't go to Australia to work in a restaurant, but I went there with a working holiday visa and that was the only job I could get. And then I fell in love with it. I really liked the customer service. I loved having like a human contact every day instead of like, you know, when I was working in Japan, I was staying in front of computers all the time and I didn't have much connection with people. So I really liked having this customer service experience and make our customer satisfied. And I was very passionate about it as well. So I spent more than 100% of my effort to the business when I was working in Australia. So it was serving me and I really enjoyed working in this industry. Then I've been in this industry for 10 years right now and I still enjoy customer service, but I enjoy more of coaching people now.
Right.
Even at my restaurant, I love seeing how people change in different working environment. For me, like providing more like safe, understanding working environment, that would change how people work. And I love seeing that growth. And I really love the feeling those part-timers or people who really didn't know what to do in their life actually leave my job and found something they really love to do and start living their own life. I like the moment. That moment I feel like my managing style really changed someone, impacted someone's life. So before, I really enjoying being in the hospitality industry and provide customer service and everything. I still do, but my passion is shifted to more of a management side right now. And if I say I'm free to leave right now, I can do whatever I want, right? But I'm in the United States right now with this working visa that is provided by this company I work for. So if I'm gonna leave this job, means I need to leave the United States too. So that's no really easy decision to make right now, and I'm afraid to do so at the moment as well.
And because you've worked so hard and so long to get to this place, so right now it's not practical. So it works for you for now, but that's not the long-term goal.
It's not a long-term goal. That's right.
So the long-term goal would be to be the coach, right? Like full-time or
So that's
something
the
else.
thing that whole my life, I don't know if it's an issue or not, but like I don't have a long time, the goal to get. Because I always put 100% of my effort to something in front of me.
Right.
And that brought me where I am today. And I'm pretty happy with it. And now there is another opportunity to be a life coach and another opportunity to handle my restaurant in a different way. And I'm just gonna do whatever life gives me 100%. And that always brings me to the right direction. I don't have a dream like when I'm gonna be 45, I wanna do this. I don't have that type of dream. My dream is always to enjoy life, enjoy where you are right now. And you just need to say yes to what life gives you. And if you are putting effort on whatever the challenges you encounter in your life and you overcome those challenges, there's always something better waiting for me. When I was younger, it's different, but like for the last 10 something years, I really didn't have a dream.
And that's, that's okay, because what is it they say, the past is history, future is a mystery. So you have to live in the present.
Also, I was thinking, when I asked the question, so I'm going to rephrase it a little bit, but differently, like experiencing freedom comes from within, right? My daughter one time was like not sure how she could come home from India because her husband at the time had a commitment to stay at the ashram and do the mission work that he committed to. And she was like, I just can't stay another day and I have to come home, but he won't come. And as we talked, it was like she had to come to understand that she could come home. It didn't mean anything about her marriage. It didn't mean that it had to end. It meant she needed to come home and he needed to stay. But it was in her mind that if she left, it meant that they were done. And then she had this bigger struggle she was trying to reconcile with. And she just had to give herself the freedom to do the next step. And sometimes it's within something that we find the freedom. It doesn't mean we have to leave something behind. So my thought was, if there's any parts of the current situation that are the ones that keep you maybe more stressed, or if it's not your wheelhouse or something that you're not like loving, that takes a lot of your time and life and energy, or if, I don't even know if I know how satisfied you are in when you tell us that you are busy or you're staying up till 4 a.m. doing our podcasts, and we want to fix it and tell you don't have to do it anymore or let us do some of the work. And you're like, actually, that's not the problem. I actually enjoy it. I'm not stressed like you guys think. So when you say that you have, and then you're going, how would you say, first of all, what is your happiness level with that way of living on a scale from 1 to 10?
My happiness level.
Your satisfaction and happiness, fulfillment.
That's a lot of thinking.
And you're allowed to think.
I say 7.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, because I'm proud of who I became, but sometimes, just like Furzana said a few minutes ago, I overestimate what I could achieve in such a short period, and I overpromise things with myself. Means I break those promises, right? The little promises. It makes me feel less confident. It makes me feel like I don't achieve enough. But this is recently I realized I set my bar way too high, and I try to do something extra after working 10, 12 hours. it was working for a short period. But then now I look back my schedule and my sleeping cycle and everything, and I realized actually I'm doing fucking a lot. You need to give yourself some break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my understanding right now. But like I said 7 because I also could apply more discipline as well. Because I cannot give myself always a break. I still need to create the daily schedule that I'm satisfied with. I'm not satisfied with, let's say, eating whatever I want or sleeping whenever I want. That's not what I want to do. My life should be disciplined as well. So, I want to wake up at the same time every day. That's my goal. And just because you have a freedom and you are able to do whatever you want, it doesn't mean you're going to be happy just because you're having the freedom. Because for me, freedom comes after discipline. When you are having, how can I say this? Even discipline, is it the right word?
It's an interesting choice of words because a lot of times discipline has a negative connotation that you have to do this. But a self-discipline is it can be a self-structure. Or you could also use self-love. How do you create a schedule that's nurturing and loving to yourself, the kindness?
Because self-discipline, it's not a negative word for me.
Okay.
Or maybe I don't understand the word fully.
No, you do. And honestly, for different people, discipline means different things.
Yeah.
You talk to me about discipline and
because if I don't apply discipline on my daily routine, I wake up at noon, I'm tired, I'm not doing anything, I'm never gonna leave my home, I'm gonna order Uber Eats or DoorDash, and I eat junk food, and I drink every day. If I don't practice this self-discipline, that would be the life, because that was the life I had before.
Okay.
Yeah, when I stress, I drink, I don't think about the next day, I wake up late and I eat junk food, and this bad routine of your life is keep going on. So for me, when I apply this self-discipline and have more controlled life, that gives me actual joy, and that gives me more freedom to achieve more in my life.
So, yes, you're talking about achieving, but when Furzana asked about having a goal, you said you didn't have one. So it is a little confusing that you keep talking about achieving and accomplishing, but you say you don't have any goals. So what are you aiming for? Either you have goals that you're not.
I see challenges in your daily life, right? And overcome those challenges. It's my goal. Yeah. So I think before I said I didn't have a dream. Yeah. It doesn't mean I don't have a goal. My goal is when life give me a challenge, I want to overcome it. That's my goal in my daily life. But I don't think about it in long term, which is my weakness as well. But
I get what you're saying, because what you're saying is that you think on the daily, right? So it's every day is what you consider a successful day, and it seems like you want to make the most of that day. What you're saying is that for you there is that long-term goal. It's not formulated for you yet, but your goal is on a daily basis, and what you're doing is like you're making sure that you overcome everything, that you hit that daily goal that you've got, and that if you haven't made suck the marrow out of life in that day, then you haven't achieved. And I agree with you, goals are, I don't like goals as well, but I'm trying to think of another word for it. What is it? Result. You don't get the result you're looking for, possibly. That's a wonderful other way to, because then actually you get to say every day whether you got that result, and you get to pat yourself on the back. But then again, also you could be having, an argument with yourself every day and feeling that you haven't achieved because you haven't. So every day you could be beating yourself up, which is not the greatest thing. So you give yourself some grace, as we talk about, and you give yourself some sort of leeway and said, okay, right, well, today I didn't get to do that, but why? Because, this happened, and that's okay, because life is, hits us with all these unexpected things. And today, that's okay. Today it wasn't as great as it was yesterday, but we've always got tomorrow. I think you're so kind to, and I think I've said this, you are so kind to everyone else, but you're really hard on yourself. And why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
You guys are giving me really big questions.
I want to know why you're so hard on yourself when you are so kind to everyone else.
That could be something I was gonna bring up today's conversation. I think I'm projecting my old self to other people. I was I was thinking about projection for the last few days, and I could be kind to other people because I know the pain, and I could be kind to other people because when I was struggling, I didn't get the support I wanted. But because I went through that, I know the pain, I know the struggle, and I don't want to repeat the same thing to other people. But I think when I'm being kind to others, it's almost like I'm being kind to my older self. Yeah. And I still am practicing to be kind to myself. And it's Furzana, your thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I try to remember the exact word. Be
Selfish.
selfish.
Yes.
Be selfish. Yeah. I'm still practicing that because I think it's also the environment I grew up. Because in Japan, we think it's very important to put others first. And for women, it was even hard. Like in Japan, we have a say like, your husband always walk in front of you and you need to 3 steps back and follow your husband. We always learn in our culture that it's very important to put other people first. I don't think it's always a negative meaning because, it taught me how to be considerate. It taught me how important it is to, think about community and think about other people as well. But at the same time, I didn't have a chance to practice loving myself much. So that's something I'm still working on.
Right.
Yeah, but I said my life is out of 10, I'm happy on 7. So that's a big change for me. Because when I left
Nice.
Japan, when I was 27 years old, I say if there's a scale from 1 to 10, I say -10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Because back then,
Wow.
I attempted to even commit a suicide because I really hated my life. I really hated myself, hated my job, hated the life I had, and nothing was working well. Nothing was working out. And I'm like, there's no point of living the life. But thank God I didn't do anything and I moved to Australia. And also when I started to work at hospitality, something clicked and this is something I can do. And my previous job, I constantly say no to whatever I felt yes, and how to say yes to something I always felt no. So like my life and my value was not really aligned. But when I moved to Australia and I changed my whole environment and I started to do my job, I finally could say yes to something I really feel yes to and decline something I really not feeling comfortable of. So that's when my life started to shift. And now it's 7
Look how
from
far you've come.
-10. So like how far
Wow.
I became. So like I'm pretty happy right now.
Thank you
That
for
part of
sharing.
you that, yeah, that's crazy. You've come so far, and recognizing that is a huge thing. That part of you that you said when you look at other people and you feel like you're talking to your old self, what would you say is the thing that your old self craves the most?
I wish I knew it's okay just being you. Like if you work hard on something and if it's not working out, it's okay too. I just want to tell my old self, it's okay. Life is keep going on. I had to learn to just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. It's not your fault or anything. Just life gives you challenges and obstacles. It doesn't mean you're worth nothing. You just need to find a way to live. But I didn't know the way to live back then. And especially when you were young, people tell you, you cannot do this, you cannot achieve that, you won't be able to do anything you dream of. I don't know why, but like I encountered a lot of adults who discourage my dream or discourage what I wanted to achieve. So whenever I meet, those young people in my work, I just want to encourage them to do whatever they want. They have a freedom to do anything, and only thing it stops you is yourself, as well as those adults who's projecting their self onto those young people because they couldn't achieve something when they were younger. But they shouldn't limit, or we shouldn't limit other people based on our own experience. We don't know other people, and it's really incredible, like when you really encourage people or when you acknowledge what they are going through, they really change and we really don't know what they're capable of.
Exactly. And also, people who project, like you say, adults, sometimes they're just trying to protect you, but they don't know any better, right? Or it comes from a place of fear because they're scared of what you might be able to do, and also it reminds them of what they didn't do, So we always have to be mindful of that. But when we're younger, we don't realize that. We don't realize how complicated it is. We just take it as, face value. They say, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I just want to commend you, Tadao, for being in that place of -10 and choosing to not let that be your story, and for actually changing and going to do you realize how amazing and brave that is to be able to take yourself out, especially not knowing. I mean, I moved from country to country, but I went from an English speaking country to an English speaking country, right? So I don't know how I would have fared if I'd gone to a country where I couldn't speak the language. And not only did you were in that place. So I think sometimes you need to take the moment and say, look at me, I'm fucking awesome, because I was in this space where I just wanted to end it all, and so grateful that, that's not the route that you chose. But you said, no, I will overcome this if I have to go to a different country, if I have to learn a different language, and I have to go into an industry I've never been in. You change location, you learned a new language, you learned a new skill set. You need to take that moment to really just champion yourself on and say, look at how much I've achieved. I'm awesome. And if I can do that, well, freaking Nora, I can do anything right now, right? You did that. So from this space on, you can do anything, and don't let anyone else tell you any differently. And we will always be here to champion you on, right? To cheer you on, whatever you need. But you're so hardworking, you're so kind. And if you could, what you learned from that experience, you could also be able to help those people who are at-risk youth, right? Who are feeling that they've got no chance, they've got no options, they've got nowhere to go. And you can help those people too.
That's right.
So all those experiences were for a higher purpose, and that too will come.
Yeah. I left high school when I was 16, 17. Recently realized sometimes you forget what happened when you were young, right? But I had a chance another day thinking about the reason why I left the high school. And actually I left high school because I felt like I was not welcomed in the community, and I was not sure of my sexuality back then. And I had a girlfriend, but at the same time I had a feeling for male person as well. So I was so confused, and I was often making fun of me being very feminine when I was young, and I was not really comfortable with it because I even didn't know who I was back then. So that made me feel like I cannot stay at the school anymore. I think I didn't tell my parents. That's the reason why. But that's the actual reason why I left my school. But in the end, because I left school very early, I could learn the skill in the real world since when I was 17. And I've been working nearly 20 years right now. So it was not all bad thing, right? And Furzana, you talk about protection. Other people try to protect you. But what's the protection? If I don't go through my pain, if I don't go through any negative experiences in my life, I won't learn anything.
Exactly.
And if you're gonna take away those learning opportunities from your life, who you're gonna be?
Right. It was funny you say that, because I was going to ask you today if you hadn't, because you left high school because it didn't serve you, right? For who you were, it didn't serve you. But if you had stayed, who would you have become? You might still be that really unhappy person staying in Japan, doing the job that was required of you because you had not taken that first step towards being who you truly were and doing what you needed to do. So you had to leave high school to get to this place, right?
I really don't regret the choice I made in my life because, all those choices, even though back then maybe many people thought it was about choices, it made me who I am today, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Exactly. And then you wouldn't have met us. And we wouldn't be having this conversation.
You don't know how spoiled I was when I was a teenager. If I didn't have these experiences, left my high school, parents' divorces, or going through this toxic working environment, without having those environment, maybe I was still the crazy teenager that I was. Yeah, I was not very kind back then.
But you are now.
But I am now, yeah, for myself and for others.
And we say it now is what counts, right? And everything that you learned, all those experiences led you to be the person that you are now. And so that's what they say. You have to thank every experience that you have. And even the people that have kind of basically screwed you over, because it gets you to this place that you are right now. And it
Now
feels
I even have appreciation for those people who gave me challenges and who gave me a really difficult environment. I appreciate what they provided me because it made me so much wiser and stronger. But it means I really appreciate the experience I had with them in that season. But it doesn't serve me anymore, like where I am today. But really appreciate of like what I had, what I experienced.
so.
What would you say you can, like, all that work that you've done and you've come so far? And what would you say is, like, what do you celebrate about you today that you are free to celebrate?
Well, no matter what happened, I kept going. Even though I really wanted to kill myself, I didn't in the end. And I decided to leave. And I want to celebrate that no matter what happened, at least I didn't abandon myself. I was holding myself accountable. And if I didn't do that, I won't be here today. And I couldn't see what I encountered after I hit rock bottom. And I met a lot of great people. I lived in 2 beautiful countries. And when I thought I hit the rock bottom, I didn't make it to the end of my life. And I decided to make it my lesson, and I decided to live my life again. And that brought me where I am today. And I had a pretty great last 10 years. So I want to celebrate for those last 10 years.
Let's celebrate. Woohoo!
Yeah.
As well as my sister's birthday.
Yeah. Let's note this down. Date, what is it? Wednesday, March 27th. In 5 years' time, we'll have a
It's my
conversation.
sister's birthday.
What happened?
It's my sister's birthday. I should send
Happy
a message.
birthday.
Happy
to your
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Shout out
Is she-
to our sister. Happy birthday. Woohoo.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, hello, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my
I haven't
goodness.
seen you guys for ages. I'm just
I
too
thought we
worried
just
about
got
the
Debbie.
Debbie situation.
I have issues today, clearly.
I think we all have issues, but that's a whole other podcast, right?
Thank you so much for watching AI Breakout, where our AI stands for authentic individuals. Please like and follow, and we love you, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.